If I can't see, okay, so it's preparing to go live, and sometimes that means that we're already live. There we are. We are live.
Yep, it says we are
live. Okay.
Yes. Hi, everyone.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is the expert interview series. So I want to welcome you to 2018. We have Heather Halliday today, and she's going to be sharing some great stuff with us. But first, let me just tell you a little bit about this online expert series. So I've asked all of my guests to come on and talk about their best tip or strategy that's going to help you get an instant result if you implement it in your business. So I'd love to know where everybody's from. So if you could just tell me in the comments where you're from, I would love that. And if you're tuning into the replay, you can put that in the comments too, because I want to know where everybody's watching from. And after you've told us where you're from, you can show us some love throughout the interview here by giving us some hearts or some likes. That would be awesome. So my name's Lisa Mizels, and I'm the creator and the host of this online expert interview series. And I'm also the founder of Unleash Your Mojo Online, and the creator of the internationally acclaimed Empowered Living video show. And what I do is I'm an online visibility strategist. So I help entrepreneurs who work online get noticed and get clients. So if you haven't already, if you would like my page, that would be awesome. I would love that. And today we're going to be talking with Heather Halliday, and she's going to be talking about the myths behind weight loss and how her tip or strategy is going to be able to get you an instant result in your business. And before we get started, let me just introduce you with your bio. Let me tell people a little bit about you. Is that okay, Heather?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. So Heather Halliday works with people who want to improve their health and energy so that they can reach their peak potential. Her programs offer education, guidance, and support to teach people about their bodies and to empower them to regain their health using whole nutrient dense foods. It's really important. I used to do nutrition, so I know what she's talking about is so important. Heather has over 20 years of experience working in a therapeutic setting on multiple levels, including emotional, spiritual, and physical levels. Heather is a nutritional therapist, certified food and spirit practitioner, certified culinary nutrition expert, and a Restart instructor. My goodness. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you so much for having me, Lisa. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear. I haven't done nutrition recently, so I'm excited to hear some of the things that you want to tell people, because our science is always changing, right? It's always
constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so tell me a little bit, people like to know why you're doing what you're doing. And so, yeah, I'd love to know why this is something that you're really super passionate about. And I think the listeners will, they love to know this too.
Sure. Well, we all have stories. We're humans, and we're born into stories, and then we create our own. Yeah. And, my journey started over 20 years ago when I started struggling with my weight and I couldn't put the puzzle pieces together. And I knew that food had to be a component. I just didn't understand how. And 20 years ago, nobody knew what gluten was or gluten-free was. So it was kind of like, I felt like I was Christopher Columbus sailing across the ocean for the first time. It was definitely a struggle. So as years progressed and I learned more about myself and learned more about health and nutrition and all the aspects of it, I eventually landed myself as a nutritional therapist.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, that's great. So, well, let's go ahead and dive in. I just want to, start by asking you about some of the main reasons that people struggle with getting to an ideal weight and how that affects them in their business.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being a nutritional therapist, I have a whole nother story that I won't tell you guys today, but I'm struggling with my weight again because of different things that have happened. And I'm a nutritional therapist, and it definitely affects how you think people perceive you. How can this person help me? Well, at the end of the day, the truth is we all have information and knowledge, and I'm full of it because I've lived that journey. So the frustrating thing that I hear over and over again with my clients that come in and see me is they're like, I've literally tried everything and I can't seem to lose weight. Because the truth is that the programs that are out there and on the national news have a lot to do with calorie reduction or calorie restriction, or gosh, the generation of Biggest Loser where people were working their tails off 24/7. Honestly, it's not realistic, and it's really not the reason. There's so many different reasons why people struggle with their weight. It could be a hormone imbalance. And I'm not just talking about the sex hormones. I'm talking about multiple hormones. Insulin is a hormone, and if your blood sugars aren't regulated, that's going to cause you to hold on to weight, because insulin is a fat storing hormone. There's also cortisol. We live in a 24/7 society, nonstop go, 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 go. Well, your little adrenal glands are constantly shooting out cortisol, and with increased cortisol levels, that can also stop you from being able to lose weight. Then, excuse me, there's just learning and understanding about what the right food is for you. We are all bio individuals. We all have our own health history. We all have our own story. So for me to sit here and tell you, you should eat A, B, and C, that's not going to work, because what's good for me isn't necessarily good for you. So we really need to take a look at the individual. That's another reason why so many of these plans don't work, is they're not looking at the individual. They're trying to shove everybody into the same package. So it's a multi-level, super complicated process of understanding why somebody might not be able to lose weight or why they're holding on to weight. But the thing that I want people to remember more than anything, if you are struggling with your weight, or you have depression or anxiety or psoriasis or leaky gut or digestive issues, what that is that's your body telling you that there is an imbalance happening somewhere in your body. Weight is just another way to translate, like, hello, let me grab your attention. Something is going on here. So instead of looking at weight as being a problem with those that are unmotivated, lazy, have no desire to get healthy, we need to rethink and reprogram our thoughts around weight and why people struggle with it. It's complicated.
It is complicated. Yeah, that's so true. And it really, it shows up when you have an online business. It shows up as not wanting to be visible. It shows up as low energy. I mean, what are some of the things that you see or that in your experience have prevented people that want to lose weight but can't and struggle with it? How does that affect their business?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think for weight in particular, because it's a very visible issue for people, it's not something you can hide. If you're constipated, people don't know you're constipated. But if you have a weight issue, everybody knows it, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to get that big sale, people are going to be concerned about what they're wearing, what they look like, how they're presenting themselves. If they have to be in front of an audience, they're going to be concerned about how their clothes are hanging, what their face looks like, all of those things. It is far reaching. I have often said that being heavy is less of an issue for me physically. It's more of an issue emotionally because of all those things that we're talking about.
Right. And I think, when you gain a few pounds or when you haven't exercised and your body composition shifts a little bit, you feel that imbalance. You don't feel like yourself. And so you can't really show up as yourself because, somewhere it's like you're not who you are. And that translates in your business as not wanting to show up, not wanting to be visible, not wanting to put yourself out there, like you're saying.
Well, not only that, but there is a perception that if you struggle with weight, there's all these negative parts that go along with it. And if you're constantly thinking or buying into that philosophy that, oh, I'm heavy because I'm unmotivated, or, oh, I'm heavy because, I'm, a closet bonbon eater, all those things are going to affect you emotionally, physically, spiritually, and more importantly, just how your mind feels about yourself, that little self-talk that happens. So it has a huge influence.
Yeah. And now I've heard, now I eat organic, but I know a lot of people don't, or don't know why they should, or have, is it real? Is it like, how do we know? Talk a little bit about organic.
So organic foods, it depends on what your goal is and what's going on with your body. I think for some people, eating organic is going to be hugely important, especially if they're trying to detox their body or heal some sort of system in their body. But not everything has to be organic. There's actually a great list out there. It's called the Dirty Dozen Clean 15. And it will actually tell you exactly what fruits and vegetables you absolutely should buy organic, and those that you don't have to worry about. So, like, for instance, stop buying organic avocados. You're wasting your money. The pesticides in the fields aren't going to break the skin of the avocado, so you don't have to worry about it. But things like berries or things that are more exposed, those are the most laden with pesticides. So you want to make sure that you are buying those organic. And when we're talking about processed foods, well, it's kind of a crapshoot, because now you're dealing with something that isn't whole anymore, and it's been through a process to be packaged. So personally, anytime I can afford to buy organic, I always do, except for those Dirty Dozen Clean 15.
Yeah.
You have to work within your budget, for sure.
Well, that's true. That's true. And so let's talk about budget.
Yeah. So, the other thing, I can't tell you how many people come up to me and say, I can't do it. Like, I cannot afford to shop at Whole Foods, or we have a local store here called PCC. The truth is, you don't have to, and I certainly don't. We went through a huge shift a couple years ago. I was in an auto accident, and our whole finances had to be reworked. And I was used to shopping at PCC and Whole Foods, and I had to find a way to be able to afford to eat healthfully. So believe it or not, 90% of what I get comes from Costco. They have great sources. They've got great fresh fruits and vegetables. They even have frozen fruits and vegetables, which are completely fine, and that can save you a ton of money. So Costco is a great resource. There's the what's it called? There's a well, my mind is just going blank, but you can, if you guys have a Trader Joe's in your area, that's another great resource.
Sprouts. I think Sprouts is another.
Yes, and there's let me see here real quick. Oh, grocery outlet. If you've got a grocery outlet, gosh, they've got some great deals on grass-fed beef and different things like that. Farmers markets, when it's in season, great place to be able to find fruits and vegetables. So it's doable. You just have to work around it. And if you can't buy everything organic, or the things that you should, at least if you're buying whole foods, that's going to be better than buying packaged foods.
Now, I hear a lot of people talk about, well, I do that, but I don't have time to cook. I eat, so but I don't have time. So I get the little healthy, what do they call it? Like the little box meals or whatever.
Yeah. Well, so I am a mom. I have a 3-year-old. I have a business. I have a lot of things on my plate. And so you have to kind of strategize. And this is probably one of the best tips I can give you to eating whole foods. We do what we call batch cooking. So I will literally go and buy all my meats. I can buy my ground beef, my steak, my chicken, my pork, whatever it is that we want for the next 2 weeks. We go out and buy it, and then we prepare it. My husband and I, he takes over the barbecue. I take over the kitchen. We cook all these meats for a solid 2 weeks worth of meats. Wow. Then what we do is we prepare them and stick them like in freezer baggies. Some of them will go into the fridge. Some of them will go into the freezer. The other nice thing about that is if I feel like having chicken and my husband would like a steak, we can. It's not that big of a deal. There's options. So that makes it really easy. Then the only thing you have left to do is prepare your vegetables. And I will go to like Costco or Trader Joe's or whatever, buy all my vegetables. I might not know what I'm going to do with them, but I bring them home. I wash them, I clean them, I prep them, I put them in the fridge. And when it comes for dinner time or lunchtime, I might make a stir fry with them. I might do roasted vegetables with them. I might create a salad with them. But the point is, everything is there and ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's really not that hard. And if you're spending maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours every 2 weeks, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, no, that's a great tip. That is a great tip, because I hear that a lot from business owners that they just, they don't have time. And I had one of those days today where it's like, I barely had time to get up and I'm wearing my little Fitbit. I'm afraid to look at it.
Yeah.
but so these things happen. And if you don't make time for, improving the quality of your life, I think, that's one thing, but making it super easy. I mean, that's great batch cooking. And I don't actually do batch cooking, but I love to do things in the crock pot because that's, and then you have leftovers for a couple days and you can make different things out of them. But I love the batch cooking idea. That's great.
Batch cooking and Instapot, crock pot, those are some great things. You're making enough so you have some for lunch, you've got some for dinner, you've got some for every picky eater in your house. You are covered.
Yeah, no, that's such a great tip. That is a great tip. Now, so we talked about budget, we talked about organic. One last question that I think might be real beneficial for the listeners is, organic is important because of pesticides, but what do pesticides do? Why do we want to avoid pesticides?
Well, if we just think about it. I mean, what would happen if you were to go underneath your kitchen cabinet, grab a bottle of bleach and ingest it? Not good thing.
You would not have an esophagus or stomach.
No, all sorts of tragic things would happen.
Yeah.
Well, so here's an interesting thing about pesticides. Pesticides were actually created around World War II, and our U.S. government was actually going to use those chemicals to actually unleash them on our enemy. Well, the war ended, and they had all these chemicals. They were trying to figure out what to do with them, so they decided that crop dusting our crops and foods to kill off bugs was a better use of this substance. So if they were going to use this substance to actually kill or harm our enemy, can you imagine what that's actually doing to us? So it's definitely a hormone disruptor. It definitely increases inflammation in your body. It's definitely a foreign body, which your immune system is going to spike up and say, what the heck is this? And try and get it. You're using up your immune system for something that isn't necessary. So, if you're trying to heal your body, the last thing you want to do is put chemicals in it, especially chemicals that you're unfamiliar with or even know what they are.
Yeah, and to relate to the weight thing, it's like the chemicals are surrounded by fat cells because your body's trying to protect itself. And so when you're trying to lose weight, if you have a lot of toxic chemicals in your body, it's going to be harder to lose weight.
Yeah, your body sees these foreign objects come into your body. It has no idea what it is. It's got to keep you safe. It does by surrounding them. But that's a whole nother thing too. That gets into why detoxing needs to be. You kind of have to have your hand held if you're going through a detox, because if you're losing weight, you're releasing all those chemicals into your system. So it's multi-level, and we could probably have a conversation for 15, 20 minutes or more just about,
about that, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, tell us what kind of exciting things you have coming up.
Yes, I'm actually in just about an hour, I'm going to have a live webinar. So I'm really excited. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we just talked about, but in more depth.
Okay.
And you can find out information over at my web address, which is essentialwellness.com.
Okay, and that I will put actually into the comment section so people can go there right after They're watching this, and will there be a replay? Like if people are watching the replay of this? Okay.
Yep. If they can't make it, just go ahead and sign up. I'll send you the replay. You can either find it on my Facebook page, which is Essential Wellness NW for Northwest, or at my website, and I'll get you taken care of. I also have on there my, if you go to resources, I do have a copy of the Dirty Dozen Clean 15, so you can download it. Put it in your pocket and go to the grocery store.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, and then I love batch cooking. Is there information on that on your website?
I don't have it in detail, but it's a big part of what I teach in some of my classes is how to implement, you know, things to be able to have success, because that's really what we want. We don't want to be on this treadmill of constantly having to really redo things. I'm really intent and where my heart and purpose is to help people get healthy. So
right. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, eating healthy, batch cooking, these all can give you instant results in your business by giving you more energy, having more freedom of your time, right? And overall, I mean, if we're unhealthy, it's just going to continue to snowball. And
totally. And the one thing we didn't even really talk about, but when you're eating cleanly, oh my gosh, how you feel, how you present yourself, what your skin looks like, how your body aches and pains are, how swollen and puffy you are, those things actually start to disappear or go away completely. You cannot underestimate the power of food and what it can do for you.
I hear you. I totally agree. Totally agree. So that's great. Well, thank you so much, Heather, for being here and for all of your wisdom. And I'm going to put your website in the comment section so that people can visit that. And then, you know, and I just want to say thank you so much for being my guest. You've got lots of great wisdom.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I want to thank all of the viewers too. Thank you for being here and watching this, and spread the wealth. If you liked what you saw, you know, make sure and give us some love and share with your friends. Anybody that you think would benefit from this information would, feel free to share. So thank you very much. And we will see you next time.
Great. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay. Bye.